All right, here it is. Here it is. We've made it to the main event. Randy Orton versus Batista versus the Black Mystery Man with a question mark on his face. Who is it going to be? Who is going to be the guy that beats Triple H or beats Daniel Bryan to move on to the big one? Randy Orton, the guy who's been booked like a major, huge, total douche, a guy that's a major fail that, ever since he's won the belts at TLC, hasn't been able to win a match, hasn't been able to do anything without either the Wyatts, the Shield, Triple H, or Stephanie coming down to the ring to make sure that he's the guy. I mean, like, he won the ladder match. And he won both belts at TLC, which really did surprise me. And he got the seal of approval from Vince, from Stephanie, and from Triple H himself coming down to the ring and posing with him that he was going to be the guy. You go into the next pay-per-view, the Royal Rumble. Batista makes his huge return to WWE. I was one of those guys, just like you guys, I didn't think that Batista was really going to be gone for 4 years. You go back to his huge run at WrestleMania 26. He wins a title from John Cena, goes in to WrestleMania as the champ. He does lose that one. He gets 2 rematches, maybe even 3. I can't remember. I think there was 4 matches total, so maybe he did get 3. Fatal 4-Way, he turns into this big, huge, whiny crybaby heel. Not Fatal 4-Way 2010. It was the Over the Limit. Yeah, that stupid pay-per-view. That made no sense. But he's not able to get it done. He shows up on Raw in his wheelchair and his dark sunglasses, and he's had enough of the fans turning against him, and he just quits. I mean, I thought that maybe he's gone 6 months, maybe he's gone a year, but there's no way in the world I thought he was to go start training to become a UFC MMA fighter, trying to sign deals with Strikeforce. Finally gets a chance to fight this one fight, and he does get the chance to retire from MMA with a 1-0 record. But I mean, that fight was so bad, you might as well just count it as a loss, even though he was the guy who got his hand raised. He was fighting a guy who couldn't even keep his shorts up. He kept on It was almost like fighting King Hippo in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. As he punched the guy in the stomach, his drawers would fall down, and he'd have to keep picking him up. It was bad. It was embarrassing for Batista. I was embarrassed for the company that put that fight on. I was embarrassed for anybody who paid to see that fight, because only wrestling fans were paying to see that. I mean, there's nobody. Thank God for internet streams. I mean, that's just about it. I felt embarrassed for even watching that fight, and I just, Big Dave, come on back, baby. I was one of those guys that when Batista got named that he was coming back, I thought it was going to be big. I thought it was going to be huge. I didn't think the story was going to be that nobody liked the guy anymore. I mean, honestly, who do you really hear, like even the biggest Batista fans in the world know what's going down. They want to see Daniel Bryan as the champion. They want to see a payoff for what's been going down with Daniel Bryan for the last year, the last 2 years, however long you think that this current Yes Movement gimmick has really been going on. They don't want to see some guy come back and just get handed the title. But I mean, you have to break it down like some Observer shit, and you have to see what made Batista come back. I mean, they gave him the Royal Rumble. They gave him the main event at WrestleMania. Did they promise him the championship? I mean, there's a little part of me that says that they just gave us Daniel Bryan in this match. Or we can put the quotations around it. They gave us, the winner of the Triple H Daniel Bryan match gets into this match just to get us to WrestleMania without ruining the shows. I mean, they got to make some video packages, of matches. They got to have, some interviews. And if everybody in the background is chanting yes, yes, yes every time, Batista and Randy Orton are in the ring, it's not going to look good when we go back and watch these shows. We're going to be like on the WWE Network 10 years from now, getting ready for WrestleMania 40, and just looking at the screen like, why the hell is everybody cheering for some guy who's not even in there? They had to get us to the point of where we would shut up. We'd just be excited, that our guy was going to be in the main event, and get ready for that heartbreak and disbelief if Daniel Bryan doesn't win it. In my heart, I mean, I talked about in the last video, I talked about, in my soul, I really felt that Daniel Bryan was going to beat John Cena at SummerSlam. That was the reason why I was going. That's what I was hanging my my hat on, that I'm going to go down there, I'm going to have a ton of fun hanging out with my buddies, but years later, I'm going to be able to tell wrestling fans I was there when it happened. Like, I was in that building. I wanted to see that so bad that I went down there. Just like when I went and saw The Rock win the championship at Royal Rumble, just like when I've gone to other trips. But I mean, like, the Mania trip has almost become like a guaranteed lock for me. I didn't go down there last year because I didn't want to fuck around with New York City. I mean, when it comes down to it, that it wasn't like the things go on sale so fast. It's not like I didn't like the card. It was just I don't know. A lot of people went down there. They had a lot of fun. Ravi always tells me it was easy to get on the shuttles and get where they needed to go, but that just was a headache that I didn't want to deal with. I just when I think about going to New York, I just think about going with my real family instead of my wrestling family, and I don't know. This trip to me is going to be based on Daniel Bryan winning the belt. There's a little part of me, maybe even a big part of me, when I look at this match, that I just think, Batista's got this. Like, they're just going to shatter our dreams, and they'll build us to SummerSlam, and then Daniel Bryan will win the belt at SummerSlam. And then WWE will tie it all together and make it look pretty with a big old bow, saying that, the last year has been, the building of Daniel Bryan and the Yes Movement, and he's finally going to beat whoever he beats, whether if it's Batista, Randy Orton, Triple H. He'll beat somebody at fucking SummerSlam and win the title in the Staples Center. That thing's already sold out. A lot of people like to complain about, SummerSlam going to the same place over and over and over again. But I mean, SummerSlam is a big, huge deal. You can debate yourself to death if you think it's the second or the third biggest show of the year. In my heart, I always believe that SummerSlam is. But Royal Rumble, to me, is almost a guaranteed have to buy. That's going to be awesome. But the WWE Network is giving us that, a show that has the winner of this gets a fucking title shot at WrestleMania. And I know this year they sort of stuck the knife in our back like they did at WrestleMania 20. Maybe even they did the same thing when John Cena won it and they gave him the shot at the next pay-per-view, just so they could have Cena be the champion at WrestleMania. It's since they started the tradition. I think Shawn was the first guy to go, and even though he lost at WrestleMania 12, or was it WrestleMania, whatever it was, it became like the tradition that every year since then, the guy who wins goes on to WrestleMania. Oh, Vince won it too, and he didn't get to go to Mania because Vince won, and then the next night he was like, "Oh, Rock, since I won, you don't have to defend the title at WrestleMania." So Commissioner Michaels came down and said that Vince had forfeited his number one contendership. So I think he named Stone Cold the number one contender that night, and that's how they got to there. Not 100% sure, but I'll have to go back and watch that one to make sure that is. But in my head, that's how I remember it. But Randy Orton, you don't have a shot in hell to win this match. I know that you're losing a lot of matches to get there, and that normally means like this sort of like seesaw booking. Like, just because Randy does it, nobody wants to see Randy as champion. I don't even think Randy Orton right now, with as much heat as he gets, I don't even think Randy Orton wants to be champion. I think he would love to play, second fiddle somewhere just so he doesn't have to hear those yes, yes, yes chants in his head anymore. But I'm not 100% sure. So it comes down to me if it's going to be Batista, if it's going to be Daniel Bryan. And when I see those two guys getting in a match, the reason I get from my boss at work that he does not like the Yes Movement, does not like Daniel Bryan, is if Daniel Bryan was stuck in some back alley brawl against any of these guys, they would kick his ass. That it does not make sense that a guy like Batista cannot, take this guy out. I don't care if it's judo moves or karate moves or grappling, whatever the hell it is. Daniel Bryan, sort of describes, his wrestling style, what makes him be who he is. You might take this guy down once, but that guy's going to stomp you into the ground. I want to be one of those people cheering my ass off. I want to be yesing all the way from fucking WrestleMania all the way back to the jewelry. I'm going to love that if that happens. I'll buy 1,000 Daniel Bryan t-shirts, and I will throw them out to the fans on the way home to show how happy I am. Don't hold me to that because I don't have that much money. But I mean, like, I would love to do something like that.
It's 5 o'clock.
Yes, it is 5 o'clock. I started this project at 11 o'clock. It's been a long damn day. But we made it, though. I mean, hey, I want to be it. But there's a little part of me that sort of has Batista in the back of my mind, that Batista is going to get that moment at this year's WrestleMania, and everyone's going to hate it. And they're going to love that we hate it that much, because they don't have to sell us on Extreme Rules anymore. They don't have to sell us on Over the Limit anymore. If those shows suck, we've already paid for them. We're all paying our $9.99. If you're going to watch Mania and you don't have a WWE Network, what is the point? I got no clue. I mean, like, honestly, I don't want to see Extreme Rules. I don't want to see Over the Limit be the championship matches that Daniel Bryan wins or loses. All that matters is I want to see it on a big show. And I'm not saying that it's a big show because I go to it. I'm lucky that SummerSlam is held in LA. It's a little while from the house. It's only a cheap flight away. And I really thought that we lost it this year. If SummerSlam was in New York City in Madison Square Garden or Philadelphia or Orlando, or they put it over there in England like I thought they might have done, it's still fucking SummerSlam. It's still one of those big shows. You know, we've had Survivor Series, we've had SummerSlam, the Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania be for so long. King of the Ring, you know, you were there, but we lost you. I would love to see King of the Ring come back, by the way, even if we had to see some guy wear a crown around for a whole year. King of the Ring was an awesome pay-per-view and it had an awesome concept. A guy having to wrestle 3 times, you know, I think it turned into him having to wrestle 2 times later. But that was fun. But WrestleMania might be the year of Batista. But there's 70,000 of us, or however many there's going to be. I know they got to count the people who hand out chicken and catering. They got to count the people who count the tickets. And however WWE comes up with that huge WrestleMania number every year. I know that you can go to WrestleMania.com or you can go to Ticketmaster.com. You can still buy tickets for the show. So, I mean, like, it's not 100% sold out, but they sold a lot of fucking tickets. Superdome has 6 decks in it. 6. There's section 601 way up top where the biggest wrestling fans are going to be. There was somebody on the No DQ Facebook the other day who took a picture of the ticket, and he got a lot of grief for, he's sitting in like section 623 or something like that. And people were giving him crap because he paid $35 for this fucking ticket. He's going to that show. He knows that if he has to park his car, or he has to pay for transportation to get there, or you got to buy chili dogs and a t-shirt and all that thing, like, he is going to be one of the biggest wrestling fans in that whole place. Knowing that he has to sit way up top, I wouldn't sit up there. Honestly, when it comes down to it, like, I don't want to say I'm spoiled, but I am making myself look like a bitch right here. I don't know, but I wouldn't sit up there. But when I sit in my seat where I'm at, and I think I'm in like 142R or something like that, and I look up at them people in the 600s, I'm going to spend the first 20 minutes of the time that I'm in there looking up there. Section 601 is going to have the largest wrestling fans in the whole place. It just has to be like that. Why would you want to sit up there? Like, let's say WrestleMania, you bought it on pay-per-view for $70 to sit at home. You know, you're going to go to WrestleMania, you're going to spend $35 for that one ticket. Nobody wants to go alone, so you got to buy 2. There you are paying $70, plus you got to park. That's probably going to be another $30. You're over $100. You're already paying more to go to the show than it is to sit at home when you know you're going to be going there and basically you're going to be looking at the screen the whole time because everybody in the rings will be looking like ants. And are you going to be able to tell if somebody kicks out at 2.5 or 3? No, you have to watch the TV screen in order to do that. So, I mean, like, those are real fucking wrestling fans. They're going there to feel the magic. They're going there to, be part of the experience. I got to tip my hat to those wrestling fans out there. Everybody, WrestleMania 30 is going to be an awesome time. It's probably too late if you haven't planned a trip to already head down there. But to all the people that I'm going to see out there, we're going to see a good fucking night of wrestling. You got the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. You got John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. You got Triple H versus Daniel Bryan. You got Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. And then you got the Mystery Man going up against Randy Orton and Batista. We're going to see an awesome night of wrestling. Costs a lot of money to go on this trip. Better be a ton of fun. You also got Ring of Honor, you got Dragon Gate, you got Evolve, you got Access, you got, WrestleCon, you got this, that, and the other, $5 wrestling. Tons of fun. Lots of stuff coming our way. Everybody, you fired up? I'm fired up. Let's get this done. Peace out.